right, welcome to into this week's episode of Play by Play. I am your host, Andy Horton, alongside my co-host, Jared Bergstrom. This is episode number 142. And, well, Jared, we got a lot to talk about. The NFL draft starts tomorrow night.
The
NBA playoffs started last week. We talked about that a little bit. We will dive deeper into that, obviously. And then also, it's baseball season, so we have to talk about the Reds. As up and down as this last week has been, we still got to talk about them. So all that being said, I think we're going to start off in the NFL, which I will be the first one to say that I think we both screwed up the scheduling this year.
The ball on that one.
I forgot that it's like the last week of April, and I was thinking it was like a week or so extra away, and so I have not done nearly as much homework. I will definitely be watching the draft this weekend, though, keeping tabs and be doing all sorts of homework so that I can kind of have some kind of grades available for next week. That being said, we have a bunch of mock drafts that we're going to kind of glance through, compare and contrast some of them, highlight some of the top players that are going to go in the first round, and then we'll get on to the NBA and then the Reds after that. So, Jared, you want to start us off?
I guess we'll just go ahead and start, like you said, with the NFL. Talk about that for a big chunk since we kind of haven't really yet this year. Tennessee's first on the clock, and I mean they're a franchise that needs a lot of help. But it looks like off of PFF, off of Daniel Jeremiah, everybody, it seems like they're going to go quarterback first. And I've seen it split about 50-50 between Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
Really? So, okay, that's a little interesting because I feel like it was split like maybe a month ago, but I think as of now it's pretty set in stone that it's Cam Ward. I don't know if it's artificially, like if
Did AI have something to do with it? Oh, I thought you were talking about artificial intelligence.
Oh no. I don't know. I don't know if it was like, you know, like if there's a real reason why he's fallen, or you know, like it seems like there's always a guy every year that just falls near the end, like right before the draft, just starts falling down the board. But it seems as though he's kind of fallen down the board a little bit due to his size and his relative. I mean, he's not a bad athlete, but he's not a great athlete either. He's kind of slid down the board, and actually with this article I've pulled up from the Sporting News, it's comparing his like 7 or 8 different mock drafts from industry like leaders in mock drafts, and they all have Cam Ward as the number 1 pick.
I see that now.
Yeah, so and some of them don't even have Shedeur going in the top 10. Yeah, so we will see how that all plays out. But so it seems like Cam Ward is pretty locked in at number 1, which they need a quarterback, and Cam Ward will fit into the system. I mean, he could fit into most systems, I would say, but he fits into Brian Callahan's system, and he was just fed up with what he had at quarterback last year. It was not good enough, and so you never really want to have the first pick, 'cause that means you were awful, but also, you know, he gets the reset.
Franchise player.
He gets the reset with Cam Ward. The number 2 pick is the Cleveland Browns. That one, it kind of seems like a lot of people are thinking that's going to be Travis Hunter, though that one is actually split. Daniel Jeremiah has Abdul Carter at 2 to the Browns, and dear Jesus, I hope not. I don't want
You're going to have
Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on the same defensive line. Rest in peace, Joe Burrow.
that's any quarterback.
Yeah.
You got one on each side.
So yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I also see from Vinny Eiler from the Sporting News, he has Shedeur Sanders going to Cleveland. That would be interesting.
So does PFF.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they don't have. I mean, they just signed Flacco a couple weeks ago, but with Deshaun tearing his ACL so late in the year last year, he's not going to be ready to start probably at least till halfway through the season.
Yeah, I haven't kept up on that too well, but also you can't forget that owner Jamie Haslam, he said that contract was a huge swing and miss, and so after the owner comes out and acknowledges it, I kind of think it makes him more likely to maybe move on and go and get the next guy. That'd be an interesting move for the Browns. I wouldn't hate it. I think it would be probably a better move than getting Travis Hunter, which a lot of people would think is what they're going to do. And I'm going to seem like I'm a hater because, I'm a Boise State fan and I'm an Ashton Jeanty fan, and I wanted him to win the Heisman and he didn't. And so I feel like it doesn't matter what I say, people are just going to be like, he's hating. Travis Hunter has recently come out and said that he would rather retire from football than not play both ways. And I just don't think that anybody really has the ability to play both ways. It's just not especially
over 100 snaps.
Especially in the AFC North when like on offense he's going to be being they play the Steelers. So if he's guarding a wide receiver, he's going to be guarding either DK Metcalf or Pickens. Two of the biggest, strongest wide receivers in the NFL. Or if he's, playing offense and he's playing wide receiver, he's either going to get tackled by TJ Watt or, one of those other handful of great defenders that they always have. Minkah Fitzpatrick, going to come up and blast him. Like, are you going to be able to deal with that all the time? Like, deal with the Baltimore secondary and then also deal with the speed and the athleticism of their wide receiving core? I just don't think, especially in the AFC North, I don't think that it would be that he would work out. I'm not saying that he would be terrible, but I just don't see him being the superstar that a lot of people do. I just don't, and I don't want to go too hard into it because, like I said, I'll just sound like a hater.
Well, I don't disagree with anything you say. I mean, he's playing two ways in college is a whole hell of a lot different than playing two ways in the NFL. Yeah, he might not go up against the best of the best on every team, but he's going to be out there going against players that have had multiple years in the league. And I was just taking a look at who else they play. They play the Bills division this year, so they got the Bills, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Dolphins. So I kind of like to see Tyreek burn him a little bit. They play the Niners. Ooh, they play the Lions. So, yeah, I don't think if Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland 2 overall, I think he will be limited on a snap count for both. Which he's not going to have a body for it his first year. He's got to develop that even more than what he did in college.
Well, and then look, man, I like Deion, but I don't think he helped the situation. Because did you hear his quote a couple weeks back? I'm going to see if I can pull it up.
No, I did not.
But he said that you have to be better conditioned in college and that he'll be able to stand up in the NFL because they play at a much slower pace and it'll be easy for him. And it's just like, man, I just don't feel like that's the right way to do you really want to put a bunch of pressure on like that on him? Oh yeah, his coach thinks everything's going to be easy for him and his son and all that, and it's just I just feel like it's not gonna. But who knows? Deion always talks, and I like Deion, but it just feels like it was, maybe adding a little bit of extra pressure because you might have a coach, and I don't know if this type of bulletin board material actually works, but yeah, you guys don't forget this week when we're playing the Browns, and Travis Hunter's college coach said that college is harder than the NFL.
That's going to make somebody want to hit him harder.
That's what I would think. I mean, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to see. Regardless, I'm assuming he's a top 5 pick.
Oh, yeah. So then that goes down to the Giants. I'm seeing a lot of Abdul Carter.
I'm seeing a lot of Abdul Carter, and then also there are a handful of Shedeur Sanders. So he's not falling completely down the board, but also not all the time. I used to listen to Colin Cowherd a lot more, but I don't know. I don't listen to the radio quite as much as what I used to. But he thinks that the Giants might be playing a little bit of a game to try and get people to trade up for Shedeur. Like, see if anyone really wants him. And I don't know if that's the case, but they've met with him a lot. Like, they've met with him a lot. So I feel like either 1,000% they are picking him, or maybe Colin's right. And I don't know. It would be weird to use that many visits on a guy that you're not going to pick. Because they went to a bunch of Colorado games, and like Joe Shane, their GM, he was at a lot of different Colorado events this past season, and they did like all the meetings they're allowed to do pre-draft and everything. And so I'm assuming that it might be the Giants, but also because, you also got to wonder if because of the whispers of him falling down the board, if the Giants think that they can, pick an Abdul Carter here and then maybe double dip and trade up to somebody and pick up a pick, because there's a handful of other teams that, from my understanding, would be interested in trading down.
Chicago was one of them, I heard. Was a team trading down, and they're at 10.
I hope not. I say that because, I can't express it enough anywhere but the Cowboys for Ashton Jeanty. Now, that might not matter because I've heard that Vegas is pretty locked in on him. So we'll see. I would prefer it not be Vegas. I don't have anything against Vegas, but I'm probably going to buy his jersey, and I don't have anything against the black and silver, but it's not like the coolest jersey in the world. So, anyways, kind of skipped over a couple of picks.
Oh, yeah. But I could very well see the Giants trading down because, on their roster they have Wilson and Jameis Winston. So, they're not in dire need of going after Shedeur this year. They could wait a year and let me just look up. Next year's quarterbacks coming out of college. That is going to college.
Well, Quinn Ewers. Maybe Arch. We don't know.
Yeah, if he has one good year.
Yeah, he could hit the road. I'm not in college football brain right now.
Nussmeier, Alar, Klubnik, Mateer out of Oklahoma. Not the Carson Beck, Georgia's quarterback. He went to Miami. Not the biggest draft class this year, so maybe the Giants might stick with Shedeur. But moving on to New England.
You're going to have to go and get a new guy at some point. Okay, so it depends on which mock draft you're looking at, obviously. I'm looking at the Mel Kiper and Field Yates one. They have Will Campbell going offensive tackle from LSU going to the Patriots. And, that would be a great pick for them considering Drake May got beaten up last year. Yeah, he got beaten up a lot last year, so they could definitely use some help there along the line. And I've seen some, depending on the order, some drafts have Travis Hunter still available, and actually, that might be a great spot for him. I don't know if he would. They have to find a way to convince him to play mostly one position. Mm-hmm. He can play two-way if he's playing 25 offensive snaps and playing the rest of the way on corner, or maybe vice versa. If he's playing 75 offensive snaps and playing 25 defensive or whatever, Mm-hmm. I think he can do that, but it's too much to, in my opinion, to do it all. So, I'll just say they pick Will Campbell here, because those are their two biggest needs. They need to protect Drake May, and they need guys for Drake May to throw the ball to.
Right.
So, either or would be a great pick.
Who's their receiving core? On roster, they have Stephon Diggs and Kendrick Bourne and Mac Holland.
And Stephon Diggs is it's a nice ad because it should help, but also he's getting old. He's not the same dude he used to be, and he's always kind of been a little bit of a drama queen, if he doesn't get the touches that he wants at the right time, he just kind of loses it from time to time. Mm-hmm. We got him shipped out of Buffalo.
And Houston.
Yeah. Jacksonville at number 5, one of my favorite players in the draft. They got them picking up Mason Graham. They got a lot of needs down there, but Mason Graham is a giant, just hole devouring monster. I mean, he just, he is an absolute tank down there mm-hmm. at the defensive tackle position. I just said it, one of my favorite players in the draft. He's a person mover. He's a pretty good pass rusher for defensive tackle, and I'm very excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, he definitely tore it up last year the last 2 years for Michigan, which why they had a couple years ago they had a top 10 defense, and then last year I think it fell off a little bit to injury, but I mean he was still there making plays. Him and what was the other guy's name? Kenneth. What was his name?
Kenneth Grant.
Yeah. Then I saw one draft had them both within the top 15, so we'll see if that stays true. But yeah, like you said though, Jacksonville, they have many needs. Getting pressure on the quarterback was one last year they didn't have success with, so that'll be a huge step in the right direction for them. And
he'll also be able to help stop the run. That's something else that he's very good at. Their leading pass rusher last year was what's his first name? I forget. Trayvon Walker from. And then Josh Allen behind him. But then they combined for 19.5 sacks between the two of them. So not bad numbers. But then if you're able to add a guy like Mason Graham into that, then you got a really nice defensive front there. And, you can really start to add a lot of pressure. They also have Eric Armstead there. I think he was hurt maybe a little bit last year. I don't know. He didn't have a great year. But they do have some dudes, but you can always get better there on the defensive line, and that is something he would do, help, like you said, help get to the passer and help cut down on the run game.
Raiders at 6. What am I looking at? Kuiper and Yates have Genty going there. PFF, which I looked at a lot this morning, they have the McMillan kid coming from Arizona. So they need help both ways. Yeah, and then also Daniel Jeremiah has Genty going to the Raiders. So we'll talk about Genty first. He's just the best running back in the draft, bar none. I heard DJ say on Cowherd yesterday that when he has his official players ranking, he has Ashton Genty as the third best player in the draft.
He's just flat out that good. A lot of people don't give him the credit for the receiving that he's been able to do, and I feel like DJ is also kind of one of those guys because, but I like the way that Joel Klatt talks about him. The fact that Boise State was doing absolutely everything we could outside of playing him in garbage time to get him the record, because that was the only way that he had a chance to get the Heisman. And so we didn't throw him the ball. I mean, I don't know how many, but I would almost guarantee it. He had less than 15 catches on the season. And the year before, he had over 40. I'm sure of it. So it's not something that he couldn't do, but it was a strategic decision that Boise State made in order to, like I said, try and get our guy the Heisman.
23 catches for 138 yards this year.
Oh, so I guess it was a little more. But what was it the year before? Let's go to his career. Yeah.
23 was 43 for almost 600 yards.
Yeah, so he definitely has the receiving acumen, but, I mean, how do you really want to give a guy more than 30 touches a game? I mean, it just starts adding up, and we didn't want to, jeopardize his NFL career by putting 40 touches a game and just doing just way too much. So, and Geno Smith has always been the best in his career when he's had a really good running back, and the same could really be said for Pete Carroll when you look at Marshawn Lynch, and then the last couple years, the combination between Walker and Zach Charbonnet, when Geno Smith and Pete Carroll got good backs, they're able to make things happen. So if that's the direction they go, I like that the most because of the main thing about the running game. When you're able to take pressure like that off of Geno Smith, then he's able to thrive a little bit better. But then you would also take pressure off with the McMillan, with the Tet McMillan pick, because he should be a very good wide receiver in this league. He's got good size too, if I remember correctly. The drafts I'm looking at do not have sizes, so I'm working off memory, but I'm pretty sure he's like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5".
219.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not a small dude, so he'll be a big target, and
Ran a 4.5 40 in this draft.
he's not like out of this world quick, but he is. He does have some good speed, so that would really help improve the receiving core that they got. But it's kind of which way are you leaning, And also they do have a good, a pretty good offensive line, Yeah. So when you add Genty and good blocking, and then that brings in the play action, you could get really good stuff out of that. So I'd like for maybe that to be the Raiders pick, either or. I feel like the Raiders could take a big step this year, just having a competent quarterback, and then, being able to sustain things offensively.
Yeah, PFF had Genty going all the way down to the Dolphins at 13.
Wow, they had him dropping past Dallas. All right, I guess we'll talk about that as we work our way down the draft a little bit more.
But I mean, they don't really. I don't see Miami need for running back. We'll talk about it for a second because they've got.
They always draft one, and he's that good. He's that good.
Yeah, but I mean, they've got, what is it, Mostert and what is the other one's name?
Achane.
Yeah. So it's like, where do you put? I mean, granted,
well, didn't they draft the kid from Tennessee last year? Was it Wright? Yeah. I don't remember his first name, but his last name's Wright.
Jalen, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. So where are we at to now? The Jets. I don't even know if the Jets know what they're doing.
Armand Membo is one of the ones that I'm seeing there, offensive tackle from Missouri. Mm-hmm. I haven't watched a ton of. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched his tape. So he is projected to be a first-round pick, and like I see
A top
a
10.
lot of similarities here. Like I'm seeing like what 3 or 4 of these mock drafts here on this article all have Membo going there, or maybe so one of them has Membo going to the Raiders, and then the Jets going after Kelvin Banks after that. So it kind of seems like the consensus is tackle for the Jets.
PFF has them going after Tyler Warren from Penn State. I think there's more needs that they need to work on outside of trying to get.
I love tight ends. Tight ends are like one of my favorite positions. But at the same time, I feel like
You're in that pick.
it's almost
for
a
reason.
luxury pick. It's almost a luxury pick. Now, if you do get a great tight end, I mean, how many times when you look over the last 2 decades does great quarterback and great tight end equal Super Bowl? Gronk and Brady,
Mahomes and Kelsey,
Clark and
Manning.
those are just the first 3, you know? Those,
Yeah, but how many Super Bowls has that won?
That's a lot. So, I mean, shoot. Flacco had Todd Heap. Wasn't great, but he was a very good. You know, like tight ends can really be a game changer because they can just help move the chains.
Drew Brees, Jeremy Shockey.
Well, shoot, Manning and Julius Thomas. Yeah, I mean, you can just keep going down the list. How great tight ends, and even some, you know, they don't win you Super Bowls, but Antonio Gates
Yeah.
just moved the chains for 2 decades. Frickin'. So great tight ends can really be game changers. You also have to have a quarterback to do that.
Yeah.
So
And it's their quarterback's Justin Fields.
yeah, that's not the most awe-inspiring.
No.
But also, if you get Justin Fields, a really good tight end, that could help. That
Or
could
give
help him out a lot.
protection.
Yeah.
Actually give him time to throw the ball,
And
which
those
he didn't have.
and those are kind of the 2 different types of picks that we're looking at right now. So, moving along.
Oh, get back over here. We're down to the Panthers. It looks like, does both of them have Jalen Walker going?
DJ's got Mason Graham falling down there. That would
Oh,
almost
okay.
be
And
shocking.
He had Jalen Walker. Oh, he has them flipped. Walker to Jaguars and Graham to the Panthers.
Oh yeah, okay. Regardless, the Panthers could use either.
Yeah.
They were not very good defensively last year, and I mean you can always use help getting after the opposing team's quarterback and or run stopping. So, and it's almost never a bad idea to pick a Georgia player. I mean,
Let Philadelphia not get them all.
yeah. Well, and just ask them how things pan out, you know. So maybe that's the correct pick, even though I'm a big Mason Graham guy. But I also, like I already said, would not be shocked if Mason Graham was already gone by that point. On to New Orleans, and I feel like that's where we start to get a little bit more variance.
Let's see. This one has Jihad Campbell from Alabama, linebacker. That's Jeremiah's.
Yeah, and then what you call it? Mel
Well,
and
they have
Shador
dropping that far.
at 9. Yeah, and so the interesting thing going on down in New Orleans is they just recently, redid the deal with Derek Carr, and it's a very Derek Carr friendly deal. And then I don't know what happened, but now, from my understanding, he's hurt and kind of might want out.
Oh,
So that's where the Shador Sanders pick comes in, I'm pretty sure. And also,
I don't.
if you actually believe in a guy like Shador Sanders, then I don't know if Derek Carr is good enough to stop you from picking him.
Yeah. Well, they got to do something because it's Spencer Rattler is their backup, and yeah. I would take Shador over Spencer Rattler any day of the week.
Yeah. Jihad Campbell, It's another guy that I got to do more film on, but watch more film on. But he is a very athletic linebacker from Alabama, and those guys are often very good.
Another one I saw was Will Campbell out of LSU, the tackle. Help that offensive line, not just for protecting whoever you have at quarterback, but trying to give Kamara more room, and so he doesn't get hurt. I think, didn't he get hurt like halfway through the year last year and ended up missing a big chunk of time?
Yes, he did miss extended time.
You can't let one of your best players on the team be hurt, so you got to give him protection. All right, so we're on to Chicago.
That's another one where Will Campbell is a possibility. Ashton Jeanty, if he's still available, I've seen is also a possibility. Tyler Warren, that would be a great pick there because I just kind of said it's almost like a luxury pick, and I don't want to say that the Bears are all put together, but they've done a lot of good things over the last couple of off seasons. The offensive line,
they don't have to work on the offensive line.
Has improved tremendously. And Tyler Warren is a do-it-all type of tight end who you can put him anywhere on the field. He can do just about anything. And he's a scary guy with the ball in his hands. He is an absolute athlete.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many games did we last year talk about Penn State that he run? He can take the ball direct snap, run it. He's threw it a handful of times too. He's kind of like the Swiss Army knife. He's kind of like what is that player for the Saints?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill can kind of does that too.
Mm-hmm.
He can go out and catch it at the tight end position and all that. But see, one I saw, I think it was NFL Network. It wasn't DJ, but I saw the Colts trading up there and taking either Warren or Loveland. Because we need a tight end. Because I don't know if it's going to be Daniel Jones or if it's going to be Anthony Richardson, but quarterbacks who aren't the best need a security blanket, and tight end is the best security blanket on the field.
That would definitely be an interesting pick and a good pick there for the
and Chicago could just trade back a couple picks, get another pick or whatever.
And get the other one if they really wanted.
Right.
But that being said, let's not forget that they also do have Cole Kmet, so that would make a pretty nice tight end duo. And they just keep adding the weapons there on the offensive end. And I don't want to say put up or shut up for Caleb Williams because he wasn't awful. He wasn't like bad last year or anything. But just more, continuing to help build stuff around him and give him better chances to succeed and, improve. In his sophomore season. Then 11, depending on where you look, I got Kelvin Banks.
From Texas?
Yes, from Texas. Or I've also seen Barron from Texas. Is it
Jihad?
Jihad? Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
I looked at Jihad Campbell. Jahdae?
Jahdae? Yeah, Jahdae Barron? Okay. Yeah. And if not, I will hear it on the draft and we'll realize we're dumb. Either or, great picks from Texas. I think a lot of people have argued that both of them could be the best player at their position in the draft. And some people would balk at that because of Travis Hunter, saying, there's no way that there's someone who's a better corner than him. I think that's the case. And this guy couldn't play two ways. And I've made it clear I don't think that Travis can play full-time two ways, but like I said, if he plays like 75% one way and 25% the other, or 100% one way and 25% the other, I think he probably could. So it's not like Barron could do anything like that, but I do think he's a very good killer corner. But he's another guy that I want to watch more film on just because he's so good and he's fun to watch. So he's made a lot of big plays. For Texas in the last couple of years. And didn't he transfer in from Michigan, actually?
I knew it was a Big Ten school. I don't remember for sure.
Well, what I'm looking at, it kind of says he never played for. Oh, it says Texas, but it also says Big Ten. So I don't know. It must be a glitch on Football Reference. But had a combined 67 total tackles last year. Had 3 for loss, 1 sack, 5 picks, and a fumble recovery as well. So guy is around the ball a lot. He had 11 pass deflections as well. So not only does he intercept the ball, but just in general, like I said, he's really good at getting his hands on the ball and just causing disruptions out there. And Kelvin Banks, he's just dealing with big-time SEC defensive linemen all season long and was very good holding up out there. Cowboys, since Ashton Genty's gone, they got to find, hopefully, they got to find another direction to go with that. So I'm seeing here on 1, we got Matthew Golden.
Yeah, from Texas.
Or Matthew Golden from Texas. So it looks like everyone has consensus that the next 2 picks are very likely from Texas. Matthew Golden, super speedy wide receiver. Didn't he break the record or he was very close to breaking the record for fastest
if he didn't break,
combine time ever. He's got some wheels. And he was very good at Texas last year. Dude's going to be a really good wide receiver in this draft. This isn't like the wide receiver drafts that we've seen over the last few years where it's just dudes left and right, but there's still a handful of really good receivers.
And I feel like that
Matthew Golden's one of them.
4 could really go in the first round. Because we've already seen McMillan gone from Arizona. Who did we just say? Golden. Then as you scroll down, I was at the end. You could have Burton from Missouri and Ibuka at the end of the first round too. And those are the top 4 receivers at their position or this last year in college.
So, all right, moving on. Miami, I'm seeing Malachi Starks, which that's actually the highest I've seen him in a little bit because I've seen a lot of people talking that he could slip past Cincinnati, which, hey, I know I don't make decisions, but Duke, if Malachi Starks slips that far, we cannot let a guy unless there's someone else better that slips by, I don't think we can let him go. A safety from Georgia will make a lot of plays and hit really hard, and I would like that. Anyways, they got him going to Miami, and what did I just say? A safety from Georgia that is going to make a lot of plays and hit really hard. So, yeah, I would like that for just about any team. There you go. This one has, let's see, is that DJ? Yeah, DJ has has the Colts getting Tyler Warren without trading. And then they have Will Johnson, the very next pick to the Falcons. I think we were going to try and do multiple, but we've been taking some time. So I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit.
Yeah. Which I just looked and I saw on Kuipers and Yates, I kind of feel like I'd rather have Loveland because they have us taking Loveland without trading. I mean, I'd be fine with either, but I kind of feel like I would like Colston Loveland a little bit more. He proved that he can really hold on to the ball, taking a hit across the middle of the field the last couple of years. I watch a lot of Michigan games. Where'd we leave off? Atlanta?
Yeah, Atlanta. Okay. Will Johnson. That's another guy who is an elite corner in this class. He didn't play hardly any at all last year because he got injured early on in the season. Mm-hmm. But he is another lockdown guy. I mean, the top of this corner class is legit. When you take in Barron and Johnson and Hunter, all 3 together, those guys can all guard. 16, the Cardinals, Gray Zabel. guard from North Dakota State. I've heard a lot of good stuff about him. There's a bunch of Bengals fans that would like for Cincinnati to pick him because we could use some help on the interior offensive line. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. I'm going to have to watch this film, but North Dakota State University, normally a very good D2.
Put a lot of guards out, offensive line out, I should say.
Yeah, and they're one of the best year in, year out Division II programs. So I like going and getting guys from premier programs. Yeah, they got very close.
Mm-hmm. Now that takes us to the Bengals.
Mike Green from Marshall. I've seen various mock drafts throughout the offseason having the Bengals taking either Mike Green or Walter Nolan from...
I just saw his name. Where did I see it?
Yeah. Ole Miss, right?
I think so.
Was it Malachi Starks? And I think all three of them might have, and if it's not, I'm sorry for mixing you up in this statement, Malachi, but I think all three of them might have some kind of off-the-field issues, like character type concerns. I know that the first two are for sure. So we'll see exactly how that goes. I think that all three of them are extremely talented players. Oh, no, James Pierce. That's the other guy. That's the third guy. The Bengals have been linked to all three of them. They're all very talented. I would be happy with any of them, although I'm probably leaning more towards Walter Nolan because I like really big and like damaging, hurt defensive tackles that like to just cause damage. Or actually, the guy that I would like more, I don't see him here. I see him all the way down at 30 to Buffalo, Kenneth Grant. If he's available at 17, I think that would be a great pick. He is just a monster. He is a mountain of a man. That is for sure. So Colston Loveland, he's got DJ's got going to Seattle. Then the Bucks with Donovan
Ezekura.
Okay, from Ole Miss.
I looked that one up.
There you go, Jared. Colston Loveland to Seattle. That would be. I mean, don't they already have Fant? So I mean, they would have a couple of nice tight ends.
Yeah, they got
Disley. They got Darnold. So you know, they would be doing their best to rebuild that the weapons there after moving on from both Tyler
Lockett and
DK. Well, and then they brought in Cooper Kupp on a $15 million a year deal, and so they got Njigba Kupp, and there's somebody else that I feel like I'm blanking out on. But so they got and then if you add Colston Loveland in there, you got a nice little. And then you talk about Walker and Charbonnet coming out of the backfield. You got some weapons up there in Seattle.
They have Scanling.
Okay, maybe that was the guy I was thinking about. So not a great guy, but a nice little number 3 who can take the top off from time to time. Denver at 20, Omarion Hampton. That's another team I've seen linked to Boise State, but if they don't trade up for him, to Boise State. To Ashton Genty.
About time we're drafting players in college now?
We're just drafting the whole college. But I've seen them linked to Ashton Genty, and if they don't trade up, I don't see that happening. Omarion Hampton is another elite running back in this class, and I like the fact that it seems like running backs are kind of slowly migrating back up the board a little bit.
Yeah.
Running back is, I think tight end, running back, my two favorite positions, like to watch and everything. I don't know why. I'm a weirdo. I get it. But they are. And that was another guy that I heard, Daniel Jeremiah specifically. He was like, look, if we're just talking about best players, he is my 13th best player in the draft. So he is a dude. He can do it both ways, through the air and on the ground. A lot of people think he's a way better wide receiver than Ashton Genty. I think I'll give him, sure, he's better. I wouldn't say way better just because, like I said, Hampton wasn't going for the Heisman last year, right. And so he caught balls. That's the only reason why Genty didn't catch balls last year. Pittsburgh, number 21, Jackson Dart, QB. That would be, I feel like that would be a reach.
That's way moving him way up.
But at the same time, I don't know what are they going to do at quarterback.
That is true.
You know, I don't think Rodgers is going to go there. They don't have a good enough offensive line.
And he said last week on McAfee that retirement's not out of it either. But I guess he was making his decision after the draft anyway. But it's either Pittsburgh felt like the only landing spot for him, but if they go and get Dart, which, I mean, he wasn't bad. He put Missouri in a chance to be backing themselves into the CFP playoffs last year. But I don't know. I don't feel like a quarterback there is right for them. I think, well, who was their roster then? Because they lost both quarterbacks.
Fields and Wilson, yeah. I forget, did they have Mason Rudolph again?
Shit. Yep. All right. Never mind. Go ahead and draft Jackson Dart. It's Rudolph or Skylar Thompson. So yeah, Jackson Dart might look like a good pick here for him then.
Yeah, I just feel like there's got to be another option somewhere else.
I mean, if you look at
I would be so shocked if they drafted him. I'm not trying to say that Jackson Dart isn't a good player, but I'm talking like ceiling is Alex Smith. Like, and I don't know about that.
Well, Dart is the third best projected quarterback in the draft.
Who else is in the class?
Milroe, Howard.
Hate that.
McCord.
Hate that.
Riley Leonard.
There's not a lot of good options in this one.
No, a lot of them have found their home. So unless Pittsburgh does something miraculous and trades up and gets somebody, if they try to trade,
maybe that would be the move. But we'll just have another season of ugly Steeler football.
9-8 because Tomlinson doesn't have a losing record.
It'll be Tomlin, yeah.
Tomlin.
But it'll be disgusting. It'll be nasty. It won't be fun to watch, but they'll win games on the back of their 1,000-year-old defense and just barely get into the playoffs and probably lose in the first round. Sorry to the Steelers fans. And I'm not trying to talk. I don't take this as me, like talking, like running my mouth and talking crap or whatever, right? I'm a Bengals fan. We haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. I'm not saying nothing. I'm also just saying there's some realities to this situation. The Chargers at number 22. DJ's got him taking Tet McMillan. That would be. We talked about him a little bit earlier, but that would be a nice pick for them going. And last year they go and get Ladd, and towards the back half of the season he picked up and took off. And then you bring in a guy like Tet McMillan, who is very athletic, and you talked about his speed earlier. Keep building that up for Herbert. And it's like, at some point though, here soon, he's going to have to start making things happen in the postseason. I feel like
either this year or next year is going to be his make or break it year.
Yeah.
It has to be.
So, on to the next one. Maxwell Hairston
from Kentucky.
I'm going to have to watch the film because I don't know a ton, so let's just move on. The Vikings, safety Nick Emirwari.
From South Carolina.
That's another one. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on. These last few are a little tough, so maybe I'll just go through and talk about the ones I know.
I would be surprised if, talking about Houston next, if Banks drops that low.
For sure, yeah. But also that would just... I mean, I don't know. Maybe Daniel Jeremiah knows something that the rest of us don't. But that would be a great pick for them. Help protect C.J. Stroud and maybe help get him out of that sophomore slump.
So what's the junior thing?
Jinx.
Junior Jinx?
No, I was saying Jinx because we said sophomore slump at the same time. Rams, Trey Amos from Mississippi. Have the Rams picked in the first round in like 17 years?
Last year was the first time I think in 6 years I saw.
Oh, well, I didn't even notice that they got one in the first round last year.
But yeah.
Oh, they got Jared Verse. Never mind.
It helps it helps out their defense, which their defense was hurt a lot last year. Amos is a good player. I think let me see. I think he's the third best corner. Fourth best corner I have written down.
According to PFF.
Yeah. So, would be helpful there. Helpfully on that back end.
Yeah, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon. He was a real disruptor there in the Big Ten this past year, and the Ducks are going to miss him. And, well, according to this, he's going to go from wearing one Bird jersey to another Bird jersey, because they got him going to the Ravens.
And Oregon had a few different black ones last year. So.
I just don't like that, because the Ravens, they never draft poorly. So I just know this guy's going to be good. So.
Detroit, Georgia.
Michael Williams, he was a defensive menace last year. And I almost feel bad for some of those Georgia defenders. I mean, I guess I shouldn't, because they won back-to-back championships. But at the same time, their offense was so bad last year, and that defense was good for most of the year. They got let down by the other side of the ball. But it'd be cool to see the Lions get a Georgia guy, you know.
You better be ready to bite him at the kneecaps.
He probably would be.
Washington taking Azarius Thomas from Florida State. I guess that's probably the only bright spot Florida State had last year on their team.
I would say so. And I'll come back with some notes on him. Kenneth Grant to Buffalo.
I like that pick for Buffalo. If Grant can stay on the board that long, that'd be huge for them on that defensive tackle, trying to get more pressure on the quarterback, but ultimately they're just building a team to try to stop Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Well, something that my man Mike Renner has talked about a little bit with Kenneth Grant is that the tape isn't the best. He's got some bad reps. He's got some really bad reps. But then he's just got some plays where it's like, did he even do anything? Or is he just so much bigger and stronger than other people that there's just some plays that he is going to win and he's going to wreck, and it's dead 5 yards in the backfield.
See, I guess that's where...
And if he can do that 2-3 times a game, you know, as long as he's not getting killed on the other plays, dude is going to be an elite player in this league.
That's where I guess it's watching so many Michigan games because of Jim. I know how great these players can be, and I feel like that is a huge slide down from him. And one of the early on drafts, he was in the top 15 with
top 10. People were calling me crazy when I was saying I hope the Bengals get him. They're like, oh, there's no way. If he's available here, there's problems in Cincinnati. We did not do the right thing, because I love that guy. We couldn't stop the run last year, and he's just a mountain. He's a one-man mountain. Josh Simmons, O-tackle, O-State to K-City.
I don't want him to go there.
Yeah, me neither. He's very good, though. That would help them out, and they could definitely use some help along the offensive line after losing Tooney this offseason. And then Shamar Stewart, pass rusher, edge from Texas A&M. It's how Daniel Jeremiah is going to wrap things up, going to the defending Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. He had good production, but it's another guy that I didn't watch really hardly. I think I watched 1.5 Texas A&M games this year. So
probably.
So another guy I'll have to come back with more film on. Last 2 years, I was way more into the draft all off season long. I kind of got lost in doing college basketball and doing high school basketball games. So my apologies on that. I will do my homework over the weekend and come back better prepared for our post-draft wrap-up next week. So I guess with that being said, we got to get into the NBA.
The association. Ooh, where do you want to start? Because I actually watched a majority of the games Saturday, Sunday, and last night. Or Monday. Last night I watched a little bit.
I didn't know that was possible, Jared.
Playoffs are a lot easier because they're all more on TV now, so I can watch them.
So okay, at least in the app version, ESPN has the West on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the West. And out West, we got the 1 seed Thunder going against the Grizzlies. I don't know how much time we have to spend on this series.
No, I think the Thunder blew them out horribly game 1, and I think game 2 was just as bad for them. And I think it.
Not quite.
Not
they
quite?
only lost by 19.
Oh, only.
Well, considering the game before they lost by 51.
Oh, I didn't realize it got that bad.
Yeah,
Oh.
It was a drubbing. Look, I like some of the players that Memphis has. They just do not have the dudes to be able to compete. And, I like Ja, like I think most other people do, but I don't think he's gotten any better the whole time he's been in the league. So,
No, it'll be.
he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to quit getting in trouble.
Leave your gun in the car, dude.
I know. Well, no, let's not even have it there. I mean, I guess do what you want. But have you seen his new celebration?
No, tossing the grenade.
He's just asking for trouble.
So yeah, if
Ja, come on, man.
if the Thunder don't sweep them, it'll be in 5.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I would be shocked to see that happen. The Grizzlies are going to have to rethink things over the summer and figure some things out because I think they're going to be the first team to go to Cancun this off season. I guess this playoffs because there are some teams already
there. It's Clippers.
The next one I got, staying in the same part of the bracket, Rockets Warriors. Okay. Rockets Warriors. So we don't have game 2 of that one that's happened yet.
Tonight.
Yeah, that one is tonight. But Golden State, they did end up winning the first one. And this was a series I wasn't sure about because I do really like a lot of the different players that the Rockets have. They are a great defensive team. They're a great rebounding team. They abused Golden State on the glass in game 1. They had 22 offensive rebounds compared to 6 for the Warriors. They were all over the clock. They out-rebounded them in total, 52-36. But they also could not shoot a lick. Shot 39% from the field, 20% from 3, compared to 47% from the field and 37.5% from 3. I still am going to sit here and pound the table and say that the Warriors, they might be able to get through this series, but I do not think that they're going to be able to survive any other series unless they find someone else to give help to Jimmy and Steph. Because in the play-in game, it was all Jimmy and Steph. And now here in game 2, it was all Jimmy and Steph, and then the Pods did have 14. So Pods had a good game. But no one else had more than 7. Huh?
Curry had 21 of his 31 in the second half.
Yeah, he had a slow start. Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely came on in the second. Mm-hmm. But they combined for 56 points, and the rest of the team had 39.
Well, I guess your 2 players, they're going to have to get you 70 a game, and you can win. So I guess as long as those 2 combine for 70, they have a good shot.
Well, and like the Rockets, I think Golden State might be able to get by on this series on just the fact that the Rockets are so young and so inexperienced that their offense just grinds into the dirt sometimes. Green was 3 of 15 shooting last night. Shooting in game 1, not last night. Just not good enough. Fred VanVleet, 4 of 19. So when your starting backcourt goes 19 for 34. 7 for 34. I'm sorry, I said those numbers way wrong.
You were giving them extra.
But 7 for 34. That's not going to be good enough. So, gonna have to get some help for Alperen Şengün, who had 26 points, 9 rebounds, and they limited his passing to 1 assist. He also had 3 steals. He had 5 turnovers, so he definitely needs to do better in that department. But just altogether, they need to find him more help offensively. And it just might not be their year because they're young. Mm-hmm. But Coach Udoka has done a good job getting them to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens.
What one do you have next?
Oh, dude, I don't even know how. Somehow it just reorganized my bracket because now it has the Thunder playing the Clippers or the Nuggets in the next round. So yeah, I somehow that got screwed up for me. My apologies.
Oh, you're fine. I thought you were just going 1 seed, 2 seed.
So we'll go Clippers Nuggets.
Okay. Game 1 was thrilling. They went into overtime and barely won in overtime. I thought it was going to go to a second overtime.
Yeah, Jokic just out there doing Jokic things. Shot 50%, 29 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds. Jamal Murray is looking a lot like Jamal Murray. He still wasn't efficient in that game. Still 7 of 20 from 3, not nearly good. 7 of 20 from the field. My apologies.
I was about to think, God, he's taking 23.
3 of 7 from 3. Aaron Gordon was really the Batman in this game. 25 points on 8 of 14 shooting. And Christian Braun also added 11. The whole offense, except for Michael Porter Jr., really showed up in that one. Westbrook had a really nice 15 off the bench. He was very inefficient from the field, though. 5 of 17. But he made some timely buckets there down the stretch and made a couple of big threes to help them win that one. Kawhi is looking like Kawhi, and I love to see it. Shot 60% there in the game 1. And, dude, I don't trust James Harden. But if he can just be this guy 80% of the time, and I know that's asking a lot, but be this guy 80% of the time, and I'm not saying he scored 32 points and 11 assists every night. But this combo, this trio, I should say, of Zubac, Harden, and Leonard, this can be interesting. And then Norman Powell, a great role player in my opinion. Guy's got a strap and is a nice piece to the offense and is a pretty good defender. Nick Batum, not afraid to take any shot. One of those guys that has those no-dip threes that are almost unblockable. Hit a big shot or two. Was 3 of 6 from 3 there in game number 1.
I forgot Ben Simmons played there.
Is that Ben Simmons? I didn't know that.
Yes, it is.
I kind of thought Ben Simmons was out of the league. That's crazy. He played 13 minutes in a playoff game. Of course he didn't score,
didn't
but
do anything. Oh God, my computer just updated and I see the Clippers logo. I don't like that.
I kind of do. It just takes a while to get used to. It's old school Clippers logo.
Okay.
Because I'm not exactly sure, but Clippers have something to do with the ships.
With what?
With ships.
Oh.
And so I don't know if you can zoom in or make it bigger, but that's a boat. That's a boat on a giant ship on the.
I thought it was like something shit from Star Wars or something.
No. That would be weird.
Yeah, well.
Game number 2 though, almost just as thrilling. Went down to the wire. They were both 3-point games, correct?
I believe so.
But the Clippers pull out game 2, 105 to 102. I said Kawhi Leonard is back. This was the Kawhiest of all Kawhi games. 15 of 19 from the field, 39 points. Tremendous efficiency, 4 of 7 from 3, 5 of 5 from the line, 5 assists, 3 boards, 2 steals, and a block. Really just contributing in all situations for his team. Zubac, once again, very efficient, 16 and 12. One of the only true old school bigs that we have in the game today, and I love Zubac, man. And for so long, I was like, I didn't understand the value that, like, I didn't think he was actually gonna be this good, and like teams valued him and valued him and valued him, and like his numbers were never great. But over the last, year or so, it's like, it's just taken a huge leap. And so regular season averages, last year he averaged 11 points a game. This year, the entire team is healthy. He's averaging 17 and 12, up from 11.7 and 9.1 points a game. He took a huge jump this past year. So good for him, good for the Clippers. Like I said, like the fact that he's a true big. That's fun. And then James Harden. Look, if he can give you 18 and 7 on relatively efficient 7 of 17, not great, but relatively efficient shooting.
Yeah, huge step back from 35 in game 1?
32 and 11. Yeah.
Jeez.
But they were able to pull off the win in this one. Like I said, Kawhi just powered them, dude.
Yeah.
They didn't get a lot of help from the bench or anything. Nick Batum did have 6 more. Derrick Jones 6. Hey, Ben Simmons actually scored in that one though. The big problem is that the Nuggets, they just can't seem to get the whole starting lineup to come and play well all at the same time. Because this time, Michael Porter Jr. played well, but Christian Brown played, didn't play terrible, I guess you could say, but had a couple of turnovers, 5 points, and was 2 of 7 shooting. So he didn't really add much for the team. I do like what the Clippers got going on now, though. And I wouldn't have thought I would have been saying this a week or so ago, but I think the Clippers are a true contender.
Simmons was a 2-shot layup with 5 minutes left in the first. So he got his 1 shot out of the way early.
I guess he did.
And then I think their game is it tonight? Oh no, they're probably traveling, so it'll probably be.
And they haven't played game 2 yet, so they should. Excuse me. Yeah, no, you're right. I mixed up my series.
Yeah, they play tomorrow night, actually. All right. So that the last one in the West is
Lakers T-Wolves.
And going off the first game in the first series, if I was like, oh my God, Minnesota is going to run away with this one. And it's kind of like we talked about last week. The Lakers do not have the size to compete with the Timberwolves.
Yeah, not at all.
And they don't play defense.
And Jackson Hayes is barely playing in these games. He had 8 minutes, had 3 rebounds, and 1 point. And he doesn't know how to play physical defense without fouling. And that is not going to work against a team that has Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid, all 3 very good, high leverage contributing bigs. And a couple of them are really good scorers when you talk about Randle and Reid. They combined for 39 points in that game. Reid scoring 23 points off the bench. And he's such an interesting player because he is just a regular dude in the regular season. And then you get to the postseason.
Once he gets to the playoffs,
he turns into Superman.
Yeah. God, Gobert only had 2 points. Jesus.
Averages 14 points a game in the regular season. First game of the playoffs, up to 23, shooting 66% from the field and 66% from 3. Just knocking them down right now. Love to see that from Naz Reid. And I really think that the Lakers are not going to win this series. And it's just the fact they don't. And even if they do, I don't see them having the ability to win another series against these teams out west. They're just.
So then you got the Warriors going to the finals?
Well, I guess if they line up against the Warriors, they could. They could beat them in the second round. But, dude, I don't even trust the Thunder that much. The more I watch, the more they prove themselves, the more I will.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really know how much this series is going to tell me about them. That being said, it seems like the top half of this bracket might be the representative. It's kind of looking to me, Clippers are Thunder right now. That's kind of the feeling I have. Or I could see it being the Nuggets, but I feel like they don't have enough. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about the deterioration of their bench over the last few weeks. So we'll see what happens there. I just don't really trust the Lakers or the Clippers the Lakers or the Warriors because of the roster limitations.
Yeah.
at this point. So, and I've been saying since the trade deadline that, like, I don't believe the Lakers defense is real. Like,
it's not. Luka don't play defense.
And, like, they don't have a big man good enough to be able to get stops in crunch time moments and come away with big time rebounds to be able to stop the opposing team from being able to, get extra possessions and whatnot in the big moments. So I just feel like because of all of that, now is just not the year for the Lakers. Maybe next year they go and they get, go get a couple of average centers in free agency. And no, that would not work. Cooper Flag is not a center.
No, true. I guess he just played that in college.
But you go and you get a couple of average free centers in free agency, and that Lakers team could be a heck of a lot different, a heck of a lot scarier in the playoffs.
We're going to the East now.
Going to the East.
Anywhere you want to start, or you just want to work one down?
Let's go to the most exciting series so far.
The goddamn Pistons should be up 2-0.
They very well could be up 2-0.
How do you go on a 31-5 extended run to end a game? Is beyond me. God, Bickerstaff, and they almost blew it again last night. They have potential. They should be up 2-0 or they should be down 0-2. Because Monday they completely pissed that game away too.
Got outscored 40-21 in the fourth quarter of game number 1. And that all happened in the Garden. They were dominating all game long, and they just gave it away. And, they did a really good job on the boards. Tobias Harris had a great game 1. Cunningham was inefficient, but he was still able to have 21 and 12 assists. Turned the ball over 6 times, so that definitely didn't help.
5 of them came in the fourth quarter.
Ouch. Tim Hardaway, I didn't know he was in Detroit. I have not watched a ton of Detroit this year, I'm not going to lie. But I do like what this team has been able to do this season. I mean, they tripled their wins, more than tripled their wins from last season. And Cade Cunningham seems to be a legitimate star in this league. Love to see that. It just seems like it's a year early for them, but that doesn't mean that they can't win this series because they have been better for 6 out of 8 quarters, something like that.
I mean, if Dennis Schroeder is going to continue to give them 20 points off the bench each game, then I really do feel like they are going to win this series.
Well, it was Malik Beasley that had 20 off the bench in game 1. Schroeder must have done that game 2.
Oh, did I look at the wrong one?
I believe so.
Okay.
But, yeah, they've been getting contributions from the bench as well. That's kind of something that both of these teams do.
So you'd say a year early for them and a year early for the Rockets. We could see the Twins playing each other for the championship.
The Twins?
Thompson Twins.
Oh, okay. And I'm not necessarily saying that they will be,
right,
in the title or necessarily be competitors next year. But they will be. I think both of these teams will be a heck of a lot closer. I think this experience for all these young dudes will be much needed and will help them out a lot. Just, the question is for the Knicks is when are they going to break down? And even if they don't, they have gotten shelled this season when playing Boston and playing Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they'd have to figure something out there. So I feel bad for the Knicks because I like a lot of their players. Josh Hart, love that guy.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson. He's a Villanova dude, but at the same time, he's just been I just liked his career progression. He was a good role player, or he was a great college player, and he comes and he's a really good 6-man, good role player for a couple of years, gets the starting role, and then just turns into a complete superstar. I like the career trajectory, but he just needs more help. And
the only thing I gotta say about
if he's got to score 35 a game in order for them to win, he can't do that game in and game out.
If he gets knocked down, quit your bitching and get back up and play defense. I mean, he's sitting there and he's just looking up at the ref and everything else is going down the court, and it's happened at least 3 times I've seen in the first 2 games in this series. Just get the hell up.
Tell them how you really feel, Jared.
Get the fuck up. Bleep button for that. Nothing else has been exciting.
Game 2, Cunningham.
Oh, we're still in it.
Was much more efficient. Ended up with 31 or with 33 and 12 assists. Didn't have nearly the passing game this time, but he shouldered the load scoring. And then Schroeder had the 20 off the bench in game 2. Looked really nice. They get a lot of production out of their guards. If they're going to have a chance to win this series, they're going to continue to need that to happen. And Brunson, in game 2, very similar stat line actually to game number 1, 37 points on 12 of 27 shooting. I think he took the same amount of shots and had the same amount of makes in game 1. But, they just...
See what happens when you don't turn the ball over 10 more times than what you did in game 1?
Well, in their defense, I just don't feel like the Knicks' defense has been good enough this season for these other guys to not help Brunson out more. I mean, and they got nothing from the bench in game 2. McBride had 8, and then literally nobody else scored a point. You need more help from the bench. Like, your starters cannot do it all, and you just...
Oh, Cat was 0 for in the second half in game 2.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
No.
He's got to be more aggressive, too. He only had 11 shots. And there's actually very few shots taken in this game. Like 155 total shots taken in the game. So maybe, is there a lot of free throws?
34 and 19.
It's not a ton. I mean, like, not a small amount, but it's not like there are 70 free throw shot. Wow. That was a slow-moving game. Teams were using the play clock, I guess, shot clock. That series should be fun the rest of the way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of rooting for the Pistons, but at the same time, I don't care.
Yeah, because either one's going to lose. Is it Boston they got?
Yes.
Yeah, either one's going to lose to Boston.
We will stay in that series and go and talk about the Celtics, game 1. Some Celtics, including Al Horford, weren't very happy about the hard foul there towards the end of the game against Jason Tatum. I don't think it was that hard.
I didn't see that. I turned it off. They were
He
up.
didn't get... He got banged up a little bit. He's got a bone bruise on his shooting hand. So as long as he doesn't re-injure it, it's not a big deal. And I think that we should be able to handle Orlando. I mean, he only had 17 in that game, and we still won by 17. So he quite literally was the difference.
Derek White is the one who balled out.
Yeah, and my favorite player. I say it all the time. I love Derek White.
Him? Did they sign him in the offseason?
Not this offseason, but like we re-signed him like a year or so ago. So he's locked in for a little while.
Not, his asking price is going to go up considerably.
He's locked in for a little while.
Right.
Just love that guy. Had 30 points at 7 threes. Set the franchise record for most threes in a season this year for the Celtics.
Damn.
Yeah, actually, him, Pritchard, and Tatum, all 3 did. They all 3 broke the single season record.
So who had the most 3?
White has it at 265.
God.
And the Celtics re-signed him for 4 years, $118 million through 2028. So, and I would not be shocked if we try to keep him after that, because I love Derek White, and I think most Celtics fans do.
What the hell is the most points he's had in a game? 41.
That was probably with
This is this
San
year
Antonio
against Portland.
Okay, I didn't know that.
No, I mean, I just was curious because I've seen his numbers go up considerably. Is Boston gonna sweep them, or is it gonna be a 5-game?
I'm kind of thinking it is gonna be a sweep.
Okay.
But also, I wouldn't be shocked if it's a 5-gamer, and I don't think it matters. And I guess it matters a little bit for Tatum's health and for Horford's rest. Tatum and Porzingis' health and Horford's rest. Those are the only things why they matter at all.
As Boston or New York and Detroit go 7, that's the best thing for Boston.
Yeah.
Win 4 or 5 and hope they go 7.
Yeah. So yeah, done with that series or with those 2 series, and then
Cleveland, I don't really have anything to say about except they're just playing great basketball as a team.
They are. That being said, though, I do think that I would not be shocked if Miami can get a game from them. I mean, they did end up blowing them out, got them by 21 this last time, and maybe it's just going to be the case that Miami has to work too hard on offense to be able to get stops, or they have to work too hard on offense to be able to score, to be able to have a chance. Like Cleveland is a really good basketball team, and like Miami, they just don't have the dudes. I don't even think they didn't even have the dudes with Jimmy Butler, but they just figured out a way. So
half your points coming from Bam and Tyler Hero.
That's another one where I feel like, it could be one, maybe the Heat get one, but I
gave him 18 off the bench.
Yeah, and they need everything, but they might be able to get one. I really just don't know, dude.
What the hell? Ty Jerome with 28 off the bench for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really pay attention to that game because I think they just started and just took advantage or stayed up big, so I never really went back. God. He had 28, Mitchell 20 or 30, Garland 27.
Yeah, they had a lot from their guards.
Bastard cost me money. Couldn't get that one more point.
Pacers, Milwaukee.
Oh, they've only played one game in that series?
They've played 2.
No, I meant the Cleveland.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Just the one. Pacers, Milwaukee. Dame comes back in game 2, but still not enough for them to be able to get the win. He was inefficient, 4 of 13. Giannis, a monster as usual, 34 points on a very efficient 60%, 14 of 20 from the field, 18 rebounds.
All I said last week is you can only let one of them beat you, so just let Giannis beat you, and that's it.
Well, and you also, I'm kind of wondering if Dame is going to be, if he's going to be able to knock the rust off fast enough. Because if they can both give you, if they can combine to give you 65, then you can start getting yourself in trouble because they got enough other dudes. Bobby Portis had 28 off the bench. They got enough other dudes. Kuminga had 12.
A month. Dame did.
And then Kevin Porter Jr. also had 9. They got so they do got enough extra firepower. It's just, I mean, Indiana, they got some real specialists. They can score a lot of points, and then for great defenders, when you talk about Nesmith and Nebhard. I don't know why I didn't see his name for a second. But when you're talking about Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nebhard, they make things really difficult. They're very physical defenders, make it tough on opposing teams' wings and guards. And those 2 guys can't really do much to slow down Giannis, so Giannis will get whatever the heck he wants. But that'll make it, those 2 guys in combination will help make it harder for Dame to get himself going. And they're down in a 2-0 hole. They did have they didn't have home court advantage, talking about the Bucks. So, they can go home, even things up, and then it's a 3-game series. Just got to win one big one, but on the road. So it's definitely possible for the Bucks. I don't want to say that it's over at all, but Indiana looks good, and I'm kind of thinking, being a Celtics fan, Indiana might be the team I'm most afraid of.
Because they just played balls to the wall offense.
Yeah, and then they got some dudes that can play good defenders, and they put it's almost like, well, Boston in a way, and the Warriors from the KD years. They put so much pressure on you offensively that it's like we have to score every possession, and if you don't, then you kind of, oh crap, you know, they're just getting on top of us, and they can just run it down your throat. So
that's the thing. I mean, yeah, Indiana, they're going to put up 130 points, but they're going to give up 125 points. So it's like, yeah, you're going to.
But also, they do have the defenders to make big plays in the big moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Halliburton's really the only guy, really the only starter that they have that's not a good defender. And then, I mean, hang on, let me look at the rest of the rotation. He might be the only one, though, that isn't a very good defender.
Out of the starting five, yes. Going on to the bench.
Toppin, Furphy's not great, but he barely played. McConnell, I mean, he's not a great defender, but he's a good defender.
Starting in the playoffs, and now he's coming off the bench.
Benedict Mathurin, another good defender. He had 13 points on 2 of 7 shooting. That's impressive. 8 of 8 from the line.
Oh.
So yeah, they got defenders all up and down the lineup. So
I guess
they just make plays in opportune moments and situations.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think that does it for the NBA for this first.
I think it does.
All right.
I think it does. We'll get back to that next week. We'll probably have a series or 2 gone by the wayside by then, but we'll talk about the ones that are still still being played, and talk about if we got any. We'll talk about the better picture, because we'll certainly have a better picture of what round 2 will look like next week.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say about the Reds before we go?
I can talk about the Reds. Yeah, it was an up and down weekend weekend that.
I was about to say the weekend was horrible.
No, the weekend was pretty good.
Fine. These first 3 days were horrible.
But then, so we wanted to go 4-6, 4-2 rather, and I think we both thought that we would lose one of the Seattle games and one of the O's games. And
both of those.
Yeah. The bright side about those 2 games is that the offense has been good. It's just we've had
the bullpen. Those 2 games.
Between the Reds had an 8 or a 9 game streak, something like that, where they hit, maybe it was 5 or a 6 game streak, I'm not quite sure, where they hit 9 or more hits. And so the offense has definitely been a lot better over the last 10, 15 days. And then the offensive explosion over the weekend, scoring 8 in game 1 against the O's. Jose Trevino has just continued the absolute blistering start.
And Austin wins now, too.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. He was 3 for 4 on Friday to start off that O's series, helped power the team to victory. And then Candelario got his first home run in a while, and as well as Ellie and McLean. So Reds were swinging for the fences that day. Had a total of 11 hits. Espinal also tallied a couple. Hayes had a couple as well.
Opening day.
Who?
Candy.
Don't know. Game 2, that one was frustrating because if that's the one I'm remembering, I feel like the Reds just made a lot of mistakes, like base running errors, or it just felt like there was a lot of situations where the Reds were very close to making game-winning plays, and it never happened. And that was the first bad Hunter Green start of the season.
Hunter Green's bad start got him. Hopefully that's the only one he has for a while now. But, I mean, he wasn't going to remain perfect the whole year.
Right.
So get it away out of division game.
Yeah, Rogers comes in, pitches 1 inning, walks the guy, but gives up no hits. And then Carson Spires comes in, gives up a few more hits, but pitched 4 innings, helped to save the bullpen for the next day. And I'll tell you what, that was a huge stint there by Spires.
Yeah, because he was supposed to start the
He was actually, he was supposed to start, and then news has come out since then that he's now on the IL. He was hurt during that game.
Oh.
He evidently, I heard this watching the game, I think yesterday, that he's been hurt for a little while, and he was just trying to keep it to himself and not talk about it. But it was too much, and and it was just too much, and so they ended up looking at him, and I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but I'm pretty sure he's on the IL right now. But he was able to give us a handful of good games, and so thank you there for that, Carson Spires. But then
shoulder,
okay. But then the very next day, Sunday, Easter Sunday, I'm watching the game while my whole family is over for Easter, and
the Reds did a lot of stuff with Iggs.
The hits just kept coming. I turned it off in the 3rd inning because, in the middle of the 3rd inning, because I was like, okay, we're not losing it at this point, and I'm just going to enjoy hanging out with the family. And then I just occasionally kept looking at the scoreboard, and it just kept going up, and it just kept going up. And so then by the end of the game, you look at the stat line.
Oh, I was watching, well, not watching it. I had it on in the background at work, and I didn't really pay attention, and I walked by, and we were up 12-1. I was like, what the hell? And then on the way home, or I kind of like, okay, and then didn't really pay attention to it, and kind of look back. It's like, well, the Reds never went final. I go, God, did the bullpen screw it up? And I like, nope, they put up 12 more runs after that.
Yeah, I think it was the first Reds game all season long that took over 3 hours, clocked in at 3:08. And let me just, I don't know if I'll have time to go down the entire lineup, but Friedel was 1 for 6 on the day, got a couple of walks, and then that's crazy. He walked twice and still had 6 at-bats.
I got one for you before you even go there. Austin Wynns is the first ever 9-hole.
I was gonna get there.
History.
But Friedel goes 1 for 6 with a couple of walks and scored 1 time. McLean, one of his better games of the season, was 2 for 5 with a couple of walks. Ellie 1 for 4. He got pulled early. Espinal was actually the only Red who played who did not get a hit. Austin Hayes 4 for 6. Yeah, keep swinging, my man. He's been fantastic so far. Gavin Lux, he had the 4 for 4 game.
In San Fran, wasn't it?
No, I think that was against Seattle.
Oh, that's right.
That was the win against Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Hayes was like 4 for 6 in that game as well.
So.
Or 3 for 6.
Yeah, and he's been on fire since. I didn't know he was 4 for 4 again, and that time 4 for 4 with 3 walks. The Reds reached 38 times in the game, and I'll just go ahead and skip on down. Well, I won't skip out on Spencer Steer because he's starting to come alive. Got a couple of hits in that one. Jake Fraley has come alive over the last week. And then Noelvi Marte. Thank the good Lord that it wasn't just steroids. I'm going to knock on wood again because I'm not 100% sure that statement is true.
Well,
he might get caught again.
Knocking the hell out of the ball in Louisville, and I was like, well, when are they going to call him up?
But so then Marte and Wynns, both with 7 at-bats. One had 5 hits. Wynns, the man with 6 hits, combined for 13 RBIs and 2 home runs.
Marquez was a grand slam.
Scored 5 runs. And actually, I don't know if you watched all of the highlights, Blake Dunn was very upset because he got nailed on the elbow. And Blake, if you're going to be that upset about it, move. He didn't move at all. He did not try to get, he just stood there like a statue, got popped on the elbow. He wanted the grand slam. He wanted to be the guy to hit it because I'm pretty sure by that point it was already either Mateo or Gary Sanchez who was pitching, a position player. So he was like, if I get a good one, I'm gonna launch it. But whichever one it was hit him on the elbow, and I guess that's actually why he looked like it didn't hurt, because it came from a position player, so it wasn't going that fast.
Position player can throw it at best 80 miles an hour?
I wouldn't say that. Ellie's got a 99.
Okay, Ellie's different.
There's a bunch of dudes that can throw at 90.
I think it was Mateo, because, you see his ERA is 45.
Oh, the other... Gary's is...
Sanchez is 36.
I was going to say 36.
Is that the one that used to play for the Yankees?
Yes, that is.
Oh, my God.
That is. Gary Sanchez is my boy. But 25 total hits, 24 runs, 11 walks, a couple of hit batters, and the best offensive outing for the Reds. It was in 100 years, wasn't it? Since 1990 or 1900 rather? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was the first time they scored, was it over 20 runs since 1997? I think I saw.
1996, 1997. It was one of the two. So beat the O's, and then, of course, like it always happens, after you score 1,000 runs, you can't hit for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And, the Reds actually had opportunities to win all 3 games, which really is the thing that ticked me off so dang bad.
Monday's game, I was watching it, and I was frustrated, so I turned it off. And then I was like, you know what, let me turn it back on. And was it Dunn hit the home run? Oh, let me look.
No, it was Lux.
Lux hit the home run. I was like, okay. And then I watched it, and then it just, that 9th inning at bat just pissed me off. It's like, don't give us false hope in trying to come back, damn it.
It was 8th when he hit the home run.
Right, 8th, so I was watching the...
Oh, I gotcha, yeah. Yeah, Steer and Fraley and Marte did not have it that time. But Marte, I'm just happy about the fact that he's continued the hitting. If he can stay hot, that will be so important for this team.
Stevenson started for Louisville, but I don't see... he's going to be playing DH when he comes back, because you don't want to... you can't just take Trevino and Wins.
I was going to say,
away.
Whatever it is, I just don't see how we don't carry 3 hitters. Someone's going to have to cool off before you move either of them. They're just too good.
Just because of Trevino's track record, I feel like he will be the one to cool off, but he's had quite a few nice saves behind the plate as well, so it's like, we'll see. And then they got the win today. Brady Singer, another strong outing. Retired, I think it was 13 in a row I saw at one point. God, he was just carving the shit out of them, nailing his spots on the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's just... And Pagan got his 5th save. I'm sorry, but whenever Diaz comes back, I don't think you...
He already is back.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's pitched. He's pitched a couple of times.
I just haven't paid attention.
He got... You're glad you didn't watch. You weren't paying attention later in one of those Marlins games. He had an 8th inning where he had 4 bags stolen against him.
What?
Third base 3 times.
What?
It was. I turned it off. I just kept. They just kept going. It was like watching a mouse just like run across the kitchen floor or whatever,
The cat's too slow to get it?
Yeah.
Jesus. He fucking has third base.
You see him going back and forth. It was.
Jesus. All right, put him back in Louisville.
It was tough. Outside of that, most of his outings have been pretty Diaz-ish. So.
I guess it depends on what year we're looking at for Diaz.
I think he'll get it together. He just needs more time. He hasn't been back long, so as long as he doesn't have to pitch in very high leverage innings right now, that's the most important thing to me. But Austin wins. 3 for 4 again today, hitting .500 on the season.
He should have had 2 home runs. The one if it was him, I was kind of listening to it and working on notes for the show, but I think he hit one like right in front of the wall that would have been another home run if it was windy at all. So he could have had 2 home runs in the game today.
Yeah, not quite, but an up and down week.
We got to get the bats back for Colorado coming into the Dirty Birds starting on Monday after this weekend. So we got to get the bats going back against Colorado.
Real quick before we talk about this next week, that 24-run game against the O's, that took the Reds from 19th in team batting average all the way up to 13th.
I bet it dropped a little bit since with the ball.
Just a hair, but not too, because the Reds actually got hits in all these games, like 6 or more in all of these games. Just whether or not they were able to do something with those hits. So yeah, looking forward.
You got to sweep Colorado. They just suck.
Especially with after dropping 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, I completely agree.
Got to sweep Colorado, and I'd do a double take. As I'd say, we played St. Louis 5 times. No, you got to win 3 out of the 4 because I hate St. Louis.
Oh, is it 3 out of 4 against St. Louis? Or is it 4 in a row?
4-gamer.
Oh, it goes into next month. All right, yeah, I would agree. That would be huge for, well, everything. Momentum, for confidence.
Get it. Let me go to.
And at some point, this schedule is going to start to toughen up, right? Hopefully, we can get through the Braves before they figure everything out. At some point, the schedule is going to toughen up. So, Reds got to stack wins as often as they can right now.
Reds look like they're the 3rd best team in run differential. Cubs are still plus 5,000 against everybody else. No, they're plus 42. New York is at plus 36. Let me go to the American League and make sure I'm not missing anything up there.
But here's the shocking part. The Reds are the 3rd highest scoring team in baseball. Have scored the 3rd most runs.
Well,
and we sat up here.
We got a 24-run game, a 15-run game, and 13?
And I'm not saying that us as Reds fans are necessarily wrong for this, but we sat up here and we have been screaming about the fact that the offense has not been good. If we can just find some consistency.
Yeah.
Let's go 6 runs a game instead of having the weird outliers where we score 1,000 runs a game.
Well, it's like Tito said after the 24 game. He goes, I wish we could save some for the road trip, the rest of the road trip. And yeah, let's knock off 4 or 5 and put those on the other 2 Marlins games.
Fine with me. Fine with me. But
Colorado minus 52 on run differential. We got to blow the doors off them, and hopefully we don't have to use the bullpen that much. Well, let's just look at the upcoming season or week and see if we got the pitchers listed too. We've got Abbott, Green, Lodolo. There. 3 of our better pitchers should just mow over the Mile High City.
See, but I kind of wish that Martinez got one of these starts. Because I would prefer Martinez play worse teams. I do not trust games where Martinez starts.
When did he last pitch?
Yesterday.
Oh.
And Kissinger was today. So he will be game 1 against, unless they reorganize the rotation, he will be game 1 next Monday against the Cardinals. We'll see. The Cardinals score a lot of runs, so we'll see how that works. And the Reds got great pitching, so something's got to give.
The Reds can score a lot of runs in one game.
Something's got to give.
All right, so I'm gonna go. We're gonna sweep the Rockies, and we will not have a game for the show next week. So, fuck it, 5-0 by the time we come back next week.
I'm gonna be optimistic and say 4-1.
Damn it! I forgot Martinez started that one. 5-1, 5-1, because I don't like Nick Martinez.
So yeah, and that's the thing. I actually do like Nick Martinez. I just like him out of the pen, not as a starter. So he is great the first 2 times through the inning, and then once someone sees him for a 3rd time, they are hitting bombs left and right and center. But so I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Play by Play. I guess the Reds portion might be a little extended portion for the internet only. So if you guys are catching us on the television, you guys can go to our YouTube channel and catch it there.
And subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Facebook, us on YouTube, Rumble. We got all that stuff up and running. So I think that's going to be it for this week's episode. Catch you guys later.